Hey everybody, guess what I'm here to talk to you about today? Here I am wearing my same purple shirt. I just want to let you know I have a bunch of these. This one says Superstition Springs. So this is my shout out to all my Phoenix buddies that head on down south. Some go all winter long. I don't do that. I just have to work for a living. I have to sell you houses. You want to buy a house? You want to sell your house? Want to move into a condo? Maybe get your first house, second house? Don't forget, that interest-free money is still out there. It's going quickly. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. Someone said to me the other day, and I just had to think about this for a minute, and I decided I'm going to do a video on it because it's that time of year and I'm going to do a video. So it's November, okay? November, December, and guess what's coming? Tax season. Oh, I don't want to know about taxes. I don't want to know. Oh, what am I going to do? The government. Oh, jeez. Taxes! Oh! Watch my Taxman joke. I'm going to put the link in the thing. Taxman gets his due. Watch it. Give it a thumbs up. I'm telling you, it's great. Taxes are coming. What are you going to do about your taxes? Well, most people have a salaried position job. Taxes are automatically deducted. People like me, self-employed, got to pay my taxes every quarter. And I always make sure I pay my taxes. Nothing's worth having a taxman come after you. Let me tell you, I did that. First year I was in the business. I've been selling real estate for 22 years. Whew! Well, Still an uncomfortable feeling, and it was 22 years ago. So, what do you want to know about your taxes? What is that, Randy? What does that have to do with buying a house? Well, one of the things I tell people about buying a house, my son's 24 years old. Give me a thumbs up, Jordan. Come on, hit the button. Give me a thumbs up and send this to all your friends because I need them to give me a thumbs up. So, or maybe a subscriber. Think we could get in a subscriber? I could do eyebrows one at a time. See that? I can do them both at the same time and one at a time. I have that in the middle of the videos. I didn't want to do it at the beginning, so you clicked on out of here. So one of the things I like to say to people is you should maximize your RSP every year. And I got to tell you this. Since RRSP came out, which is a wonderful federal program, what does it mean, Registered Retirement Savings Plan? How many people use it? And quite frankly, people vilify it. There is a whole industry out there that tells people that you should not put money in a RRSP. What? Do they not know the power of tax-free savings? Maybe they just don't know. Maybe they don't know the numbers. Maybe they don't know how to add. They're financial people. They should know how to add. It's amazing how many financial people don't know what 10% of $1 million is. You know, it's pretty easy. It's $100,000. Just 10% moved decimal one place. It's pretty simple. It's grade 3 math, I think. Maybe grade 2. Can't remember. My dad's a math teacher. I'll ask him. Anyways, I'm here to talk about RRSPs, but the season's coming up. 1, putting money in your RRSP allows you to, if you're 18 years old, get tax-free income on that money. More importantly, you're working a job and you put I'm going to use round numbers to make it easy, $10,000 in an RSP. And you get back, most people that can do $10,000 is in 35% tax bracket. You're going to get back $3,500 and you stick. That is not your money to spend. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to get mad at you if you do that. People get a tax return and go spend their money. You can take $150 of that and blow it on something, but other than that, it goes back into your RSP. It's not your money. It's tax money. It's never your money. In fact, that there's a whole industry out there to say, take your tax return and take a vacation. Save money to take a vacation. Don't take your tax return. It's not your money. Stick that into your RSP and you'll get 35% on that. So what does doing an RSP do for you? You're 24 years old. You're 18 years old. You're 30 years old. And you want to do an RSP. Or you want to put money into an RSP because you want to buy a house. Remember, you can take $25,000. That's a 2 and a 5. 25000. 25000 out of your RSP to buy your first house. That's a $500,000 house. let me tell you, $500,000 gets you a beautiful house in the city of Calgary. Got you a beautiful house in 2007, 2013 at the peak of the market, and in this right now when I'm filming this, 2019, beautiful house. Absolutely beautiful house. Absolutely beautiful. I really don't want to sell you that house because you're never going to move again. But anyways, it's amazing. So if you can put that money away, you can do really well. Now, what if you put it away? So that's the home. Got to cut that off. I'm not going to cut that off. But if you're going to buy a house, put it in the RRSP. Let it grow. Get your tax return back. Put it in the RSP. It's an automatic 35% return. Your RSP will get to your $25,000 a lot faster than you think it will. There's also TFSA, tax-free savings account. Now, a lot of people promote this, but it's only $5,500 a year. If you make more than $68,000 a year, that's all you can put in. You can put more in your RSP if you make more than that. But that's a whole other conversation. TFSAs are very good too. I recommend that you max out your RSP and max out your TFSA every year. TFSA, you can pull it out whenever you want. No tax, no nothing. That's why there's a limit on it. You make $100,000 a year, you can put $18,000 in an RRSP because you get 18% of your income max. So and that's the max, $18,000. You can't put any more than that in. So what does that do for you? Well, I don't know, Randy. I mean, it just sits there. Well, what is it going to make? What are you going to do with it? Now, there's stocks you can buy, there's bonds you can buy, there's funds you can buy. But there's a guy on TV, his name's Jim Cramer. Might have heard of him. He's on CNBC. He's got a show called Mad Money. And I stole this idea from him a little bit because he said, you know, what would happen if you put $10,000 in the S&P 500 index fund with dividends being reinvested? So you don't have to do anything. You just have to buy $10,000 worth of that fund. And we have that in Canada. You can do it in Canadian dollars, or you can do it in American dollars. But remember, it's in your RRSP, so there's no tax. It's gonna grow without taxes, and this is the key: growing without paying any taxes. It makes, because what if it doubles in value, right? Anyways, because it's going to double in value, it's going to get a lot more than that. So if you did the S&P 500 fund, and I was thinking about this. Now it's November. Well, it's almost December. And so the end of the year is almost here. And let's just assume, for argument's sake, and I know people are going to do thumb down, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. Let's just assume it's the end of the year. So we'll take the S&P 500 for 2019, where it ended right now. So we're January 2nd, 2020. What was the rate of return on the S&P 500 from 1980 to 2020? Or 1990 to 2020? Because guess what? I did up a chart. You're going to love this. I did up a chart. I gotta go and get the chart. Oh, I'm getting old. So, I did up a chart. I got a chart. Are we ready? Oh, I didn't do this right. It's gonna look funny on the video, but I don't care. I need to find someone that knows how to edit videos, and when you're working on a computer screen and the sound and the screen and the person and it all goes together, I don't have time to do that because I'm selling houses all the time. But here's my board. Can you see it? Can you see the board? I'm going to try and get it in there. Can you see it? I hope you can see it. Got this funny little face guy. If you put $10,000 into an RRSP and you leave it in there for 30 years, you will have $174,000. Did you hear me? 10 grand in 30 years is $174,000. But guess what? If you leave it in there for 40 years, and this is using from 1980 to 2020 data, exactly 40 years. We've had interest rates go to 20%, and we've had interest rates at 0%. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 recessions in that time frame. New technologies come out, everything. Let's think about it. We got Netflix today, and in 1980, nobody knew what Netflix was. I mean, nobody even knew what Blockbuster was. Microsoft, huh? Apple, what's that? BlackBerry? What in the world is that? Google? There was no Google. But if you would have bought the S&P 500 and reinvested this index fund, so you didn't do anything with it, you just bought $10,000 worth in 1980, and trust me, $10,000 in 1980 was a hell of a lot of money, and left it there. Put it in your RSP. Okay? 40 years? Like what you would have had. $475,000. Okay? You would have had $475,000. $475,000. Okay? RSP Power, I call it. That's the name of this video. RRSP Power. The power of your RRSP. And first year tax return. This is based on taking the first year tax return. When you put that $10,000 in your RRSP, the average person is going to get back $3,500. Okay? If you make $100,000 a year, you're going to get back in Alberta about $4,500. So it's different everywhere you live, but it's about $3,500. So you put the $10,000 in, and then you get the tax return. You don't spend your tax return ever. It's not your money. The government gave back their money. How stupid is that? I tell you, these governments are kind of stupid. You take this tax return and you put it in your RRSP. Okay? This is what you have in 30 years if you just bought the index fund. And this is what you have in 40 years. So if you're 25 years old, okay, and you put $10,000 in there today, that's how much you're going to have when you're 65. And then when you're, okay, $10,000 a year is a lot. So then, you're going to have to make a lot of money to do that. But you put $10,000 in here this year. Let's say you took out an RSP loan or something like that, paid it off in 2 years. And then every year after that, you put $5,000 in. And you do that for 40 years. How much money are you going to have? You can see on this chart here, I didn't do it. Okay? I didn't do it. I didn't do it for every year. $10,000 the first year. Take your $3,500 tax return, stick it in there, and then do another $5,000 out of your own income. Okay? Now you got an $8,500 RSP contribution that year, and you get back 35% of that. But then you put the tax return in. Remember, always put your tax return in your RSP. Don't spend it. And that's the power of compounding. I personally just buy TELUS. It's 2019. I've been buying TELUS since 2009 in my RSP. It's the only stock I have in there. Otherwise, I have a S&P index fund, and I have TELUS. I divide it equally, and I got to tell you, TELUS is beating it. I'm my own little guinea pig. I'm 10 years into this. I got another 10 years to go, and I'm going to have a 20-year video. I'm going to know what the TELUS did for over the 20 years. I'm going to know what the index fund did over the 20 years. But I got to tell you, TELUS is beating it. Dividends reinvested always. I never take it. It's in RSP. I don't need the money yet. I'll need it when I'm 65. I don't need it today. Okay? So that's the power of an RRSP. Now, I'm not a financial planner. Okay? I'm not a financial planner. And financial planning is not like it used to be. I'm going to be honest with you. Financial planning, when I started, had to put that down. Financial planning, when I started, you went in and talked to a stockbroker, you went in and talked to your bank or whatever it was, wherever you went, where your dad worked, blah, 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 blah. They sat down and they said, listen, what's your tolerance level? Where do you want to go? How much money you want to make? And they would stick you in stuff. You'd send them the money and they'd do it. There was no internet. You couldn't go on your computer. They would send you a statement once or twice a year or whatever it was, right? If they put you in Microsoft in 1984, you weren't complaining. I just want to say, you weren't complaining. You're not complaining today if you were put into Microsoft in 1984. And you look at the stock price today. Maybe you would have complained back in 2009 or 2001. You might have complained a little bit, but you're not complaining today. You're just not. But that's the power. So they don't give advice like they used to give, but they do have all the funds. So remember, put that $10,000 in your RSP. Make sure it's an index fund. S&P 500 Canadian index fund or an S&P 500 US New York Stock Exchange index fund. Okay? Over the last 40 years, that's averaged 10.1% return every year with dividends being reinvested. That's what gets you your $10,000 turning into $475,000. You can use a compound calculator. It's on the internet. Just type in compound calculator, put in 10, put in 40, put in 10%. Voila. Don't take my word for it. And that's the power. And it gets vilified. And people say don't do it, and do it this way, and do it that way. No. Remember, but when you turn 71, and then they might turn this to 75 down the road, but right now at 71, you got to start taking money out of that RSP and use it as income. And when you're taking money out, you're not making any money. You're retired. Your income drops. Great way to make sure you got that income coming in. So that's my story on RSPs, and I want everyone out there to do it. Do as much as you can, earliest as you can, and stick it in there and forget about it. Do everything you can not to touch it, because the power of compound interest is amazing. Don't take my word for it. Go to Data is Beautiful and do that. Go to Warren Buffett and watch some of his documentaries on compounding interest. There's lots of stuff out there. So get on out there, check it out, and get your RSP going. And more importantly, give me a call to buy a house, because you can take $25,000 of that and buy yourself a house. Wouldn't that be fantastic?